Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita as it is, chapter 2, text 70. āpūryamāṇam acala-pratiṣṭhaṁ samudram āpaḥ praviśanti yadvat tadvat kāmāyam praviśanti sarve śāntim āpnoti kāma-kāmī. Word meaning āpūryamāṇam, always being filled. Acala-pratiṣṭhaṁ, steadily situated. Samudram, the ocean. āpaḥ, waters. praviśanti, enter. yadvat, as. tadvat, so. kāmāḥ, desires. yam, unto whom. praviśanti, enter. sarve, all. sah, that person. śāntim, peace. āpnoti, achieves. Not. kāma-kāmī, one who desires to fulfill desires. Translation: a person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Please repeat. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Although the vast ocean is always filled with water, it is always, especially during the rainy season, being filled with much more water. But the ocean remains the same, steady. It is not agitated, nor does it cross beyond the limit of its brink. That is also true of a person fixed in Krishna consciousness. As long as one has the material body, the demands of the body for sense gratification will continue. The devotee, however, is not disturbed by such desires because of his fullness. A Krishna conscious man is not in need of anything because the Lord fulfills all his material necessities. Therefore, he is like the ocean, always full in himself. Desires may come to him like the waters of the rivers that flow into the ocean, but he is steady in his activities and is not even slightly disturbed by desires for sense gratification. That is the proof of a Krishna conscious man, one who has lost all inclinations for material sense gratification, although the desires are present, because he remains satisfied in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. He can remain steady like the ocean and therefore enjoy full peace. Others, however, who want to fulfill desires even up to the limit of liberation, what to speak of material success, never attain peace. The fruitive workers, the salvationists, and also the yogis who are after mystic powers are all unhappy because of unfulfilled desires. But the person in Krishna consciousness is happy in the service of the Lord, and he has no desires to be fulfilled. In fact, he does not even desire liberation from the so-called material bondage. The devotees of Krishna have no material desires, and therefore they are in perfect peace. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadhatika Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakapalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatha Nitam Tam Sajiv Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakha Nutanscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bhagavad-Gita class. I humbly seek all of your blessings to share some of understandings from this verse. So now we are at the end of the second chapter, and this portion is answered by Krishna because Arjuna has asked a question to Krishna that what is the symptom of a person who is sthita prajna? How does he speak? How does he walk? What is his language? How he relates the things? What is behavior? These are the things he wants to know. Why? Because unless one knows the symptom of a person, how he can achieve those qualities in his heart? Because the final destination is we have to go back to Godhead. That is what explained in the last verse. Krishna says that is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered, and if one thus situated even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. So that was the goal. In order to reach or achieve that goal, what one should do? So immediately Krishna answers. He told the person who is sthita prajna, the first symptom is prajahati yada kāman sarvangata mano prajahati yada kāman sarvan partha manogatan atmani eva atmanatishṭha sthita prajna taduchyate. Same here also the same thing. Kāma. Prajahati yada kāman, who has given all type of material desires. Those material desires are nothing but concocted from the mind. Manogata. Atmani eva atmanatishṭha. That he should be fully self-satisfied. Those are the symptoms of a sthita prajna person. And slowly Krishna explains so many things. He has given so many examples, so many analogies. And here also he is explaining this verse. What is the characteristic of a person who is Sthita Prajna? So here is telling āpūryamāṇam. āpūryamāṇam means always full. Pūryamāṇam means is full, completely satisfied. āpūryamāṇam, full. Then acala-pratiṣṭhaṁ means he is completely fixed. He never budges an inch from his boundaries. So two characteristics Krishna explains that these are the two characteristics of ocean. That the ocean is always full and he does not cross its brink. Samudram āpaḥ, praviśanti yadvat. There are so many rivers flowing to the sea, and all rivers are filled with water, and those waters are coming and entering to the ocean. Tadvat kāmāyam praviśanti sarve. Same way, there are so many desires are entering into the hearts of a person in Krishna consciousness. Although those desires are coming, entering, but he is not disturbed at all. So that's why he attains peace. And he is telling that no kāma-kāmī, those who run after sense gratification, they cannot be peaceful. This is the sum and substance of this verse. Here is Krishna is giving an analogy. Like in previous verses, he has given another analogy also. What is that analogy? That Sthita Prajna withdraws his senses when he comes in contact with sense objects. And that analogy is given with tortoise. Because tortoise, if you attack tortoise, immediately it withdraws its limbs and puts inside the cell. So it is completely protected. Here the analogy is another way. The ocean is filled with water. Always it filled. It is completely filled. Either water comes from the rivers or does not come. And even Prabhupada explains, even in the rainy season, a lot of water comes. Like think of rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Godavari, Kaveri. They are very big rivers and filled with waters. And they come with overflowing. And when they enter to the ocean, what happens? Ocean is not destroyed. It does not, the second character, it does not cross its brinks. So here the comparison is given, the ocean and a Krishna conscious person. A Krishna conscious person is always full. Why he is full? Why he is full? Because just like some ocean is filled with what? Water. It's completely, ocean does not require any water from the rivers. Either waters come or does not come, ocean is fully filled with water. Same way, a Krishna conscious person is always happy and blissful. Why? Because he has a connection with Krishna. He has a connection with Krishna. That's why it is 2.66. It is explained. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha abhavayata śāntir अशांतस्य कुतः सुख नास्ति बुद्धिर अयुक्तस्य. Those who are not connected or those who are not Krishna consciousness, they cannot be peaceful at all. Why? These things will be explained. Na cha bhavata shantir asanta. If somebody is not peaceful, where is the question of happiness? So happiness comes from a state of peace of mind. And how does happiness come? Happiness is actually inbuilt with the soul. Just like Krishna is Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Same way we are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we are also full of bliss. Happiness is actually our quality. So we should be happy always. But why we are not happy? Because we are disconnected. That is the reason we are unhappy. So that's why Prabhupada explains, although the vast ocean is always filled with water, it is always, especially during the rainy season, being filled with much more water. But the ocean remains the same steady, it is not agitated, nor does it cross beyond the limit of its brink. Same way, when a Krishna conscious person serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, serving devotees, doing so many services, he has to work, he has to serve. While executing his services, there will be many material desires will come in front of him. Where Prabhupada explains, as long as we have the material body, we have to what? There is demands. The senses will demand something for eating, for sleeping, for mating, for depending. All these things are there. Those are the demands of body. Like in nectar of instruction, first verse. Bacho begam, manasa krodha begam, juha begam, udarupastha begam, etan begano visahita dhira, sarvam apimam pratibim sasisyat. In that verse, Prabhupada explains that as long as we have a material body, there are demands from different types of senses. But those who are dhiras, what they do, they are not agitated by those senses. That is what I explained here, that those who are Krishna conscious persons, they never agitated by those desires, because they have to work. So now the question comes, if somebody is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, doing devotional service, why these material desires has to come? Because he is fully busy in his serving Krishna. His desires are spiritual. Why those material desires are coming? It should not have come, because I am suppose engaging in devotional service. So Acharyas, they commented, like Baldev Vidyabhushan, he says that we have our past karmas, because we have come across with so many species of life, so many desires are floating. So whatever present desires are coming in front of us, those are the manifestation of past karmic actions. But we have created so many impressions. Mind is the storehouse of all type of impressions. So those things definitely it will manifest, because we are carrying, unless we are completely purified, liberated, those things will come and appear in front of us. So that's why Krishna is telling how we should respond to those situations. For example, Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur is completely fixed. He was continuously, constantly chanting Hare Krishna. When there is a plan from the Muslim king and he sent a prostitute, what happens to Haridas Thakur? never worried at all. He says, here is a person. He didn't deviate from his chanting. He was constantly was chanting. And when the prostitute approached, he told, okay, wait, let me finish my chanting. I will attend you.
Not listen.
Pardon?
Listen chanting.
Yeah, so that was his plan. Haridas Thakur's plan that I will continue chanting, let her sit and hear. So here is the person, Sthita Prajna. He does not have any desire at all. Even if those sense objects comes in front of him, he is not worried at all. He is not agitated at all. Just like so many rivers flowing, the ocean is never agitated. Prahlad Maharaj, in his prayer, he tells that this material world is filled with so many desires. And my senses are just like the co-wives of a person. Just like a person who has many wives, they drag the husband to different directions. So senses are dragging us into so many directions. But next prayer he tells that only a person will not be agitated, will not be affected, will not be distracted if he is fixed in his service to Krishna. So that is the reason why Krishna explains a Krishna conscious person who is completely dedicated, who is completely devoted to the service of Krishna, he is never deviated from the path of his service. Just like ocean does not cross its brink, same way a devotee, a Krishna conscious person never deviates from his devotion. That is what called the maryada. We say ourselves, don't cross your limits. Sometimes somebody speaks some harsh words of, don't cross your limits. Same way, as suppose we are in Grihastha ashram. So in Grihastha ashram, whatever maryada is there, we have to fulfill it. We have to do it. We should not deviate the path because this is our abhijatya. Abhijatya means we are representing Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada is our role model. And if anything we do or we cross the limits of Srila Prabhupada's teachings, what will happen? Immediately will bring bad names. So it is the responsibility of each devotee, those who are practicing Krishna consciousness, they should follow the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. If we are not following, that means we are bringing bad name. So that is the symptom of a person. Just like ocean does not, whatever happens, how many desires, unlimited rivers comes, it does not deviate, it does not cross its brink. Same way, as long as we are practicing devotional service, we are with devotee association, we are representing Srila Prabhupada, it is our responsibility to live within the boundaries of the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. That is our practical application. Now the question comes that why some people deviate or why somebody crosses the limits? Because they don't understand what is the consequence. Like Mother Sita, when there was Mayamraga, what happens? Lord Ram went to catch the deer. Then after that, there was a sound from the Mayamraga, please save me, Lakshman, Lakshman. Then Mother Sita told Lakshman, please go and help your brother. Who is going to kill my brother? He knows that nobody can do any harm to my brother. But somehow Mother Sita, no, you have to go. So before going, Mother Sita, what she does? She puts a line. Told her, don't cross this line. What happens? When Lakshman went, Ravan came, Ravan asked some alms for begging this thing. So Mother Sita understood that I should not cross this limit. This is my limit. But somehow or other she crossed. What was the consequence? Everything become disaster. So same way, this is a very instructive point. So same way, as long as we are practicing Krishna consciousness, we should not deviate from the instructions of Srila Prabhupada's teachings and our spiritual master. That is our maryada. Either we are brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha or sannyas, everybody has given their respective duties, respective obligations, respective responsibility, and we have to follow that. How it is possible? That is only possible if you are self-satisfied. And that self-satisfaction comes our connection with Krishna. And that is not a mechanical thing. That one has to develop that love for Krishna. Like suppose it requires little intelligence to distinguish what is good and what is bad. How I should not run after sense gratification, and how I should keep maryada being in my devotional service. Like another thing, when Bhishmadeva brought Amba to get married with Vichitravirya. So that time what happens? Nobody accepted, then finally Amba told Bhishma that I want to marry you. Bhishma told that I cannot do that. Already I have taken promise. I cannot do that. So there will be circumstances in our life, but we have to see what is my limitation, what decision I should take so that my Guru and Krishna will be pleased. So that's why Kulasekar says, Andhasya me hruta viveka mahadhanasya chaurei prabhu balibhir indriya namadei mohanda kopakahare vinipatitasya devesa dehi krupanasya karavalambo. He telling that I have a great wealth. What is that great wealth? Is discrimination. To discriminate between good and bad. The problem is that my senses are stealing that power of intelligence. Because senses are overpowering. I become a kripana. So I pray you at your lotus feet, please give me necessary intelligence so that I can live by taking your shelter at every moment. So that should be our mood. Then we will be completely filled. We will not be attracted by any other things in this world. When I know that my Lord is Krishna, He will take care of everything. Krishna, you are mine, I am yours. And we need not to worry about anything at all. When that conviction will come, then there is no question of agitation. There is no question of deviation. There is no question of frustration. There is no lamentation, no anxiety, nothing. Because that is the Sthita Prajna state. My Lord is there, I am here to serve. It will come, so many sense gratification objects will come, they may disturb us, but will not be disturbed. So that's why, who is a dhira? A person who is undisturbed by disturbing circumstances is called a dhira. There will be so many disturbing circumstances in this material world. Because that's designed like, the material world is designed to give so many disturbances in our life. So now our duty is not to be disturbed, and that is only possible that if we are holding the lotus feet of Krishna. Because lotus feet of Krishna is acala, is fixed, and we hold the feet of lotus, feet of Krishna, so will be also. Nobody can drag us. Nobody can drag us. Then he is telling, no kāma-kāmī. Those who are not Krishna conscious, those who are not devotees of Krishna, they cannot attain peace. It's 100% correct. Krishna says it's 100% correct. How? Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi-kāmī Sakale Asanta Krishna Bhakta Niskama Ataeva Santa. Bhukti means what? Material sense gratification. I want to gratify my senses. I want to enjoy. That is the reason we fell down from the spiritual world. And there are so many beautiful stories in Bhagavatam. 4th canto, if you go to Puranjana story, 9th canto is filled with all type of scandals. There is a very nice story about King Yayati. King Yayati is actually he was the king of the whole entire world. And somehow or other he got attracted by Devayani and he married. Then there is a very long story. I am explaining the main point. How even if having so many wealth, so many Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Sri, these are the opulences everybody wants. In spite of having all these things, how he is not satisfied? So King Yayati got attracted to Devayani and married, and Devayani brought her maid servant Sarmishta with her. There is a very long story. How did she come? So now what happened? In one condition she married, that she should, the King Yayati should not have any contact with Sarmishta. So somehow or other Devayani had some children, and after that Sarmishta requested King Yayati to have some children, and she begat also. Then Devayani got very, very angry, and she went and complained to Sukracharya, her father. Then Sukracharya cursed to Yayati that you become old and you become invalid. Then he requested, although he was enjoying so much, still he was so unsatisfied. He requested, no, I have not enjoyed fully. Please give me a chance. And he told that, yes, if you exchange your body, old body, with some young person, then you can enjoy further. Then he requested his eldest son, Yadu. And Yadu told that, how it is possible? I have a young body, I have not enjoyed. How I can give my body to you? Then he requested all other sons. They also told, no, we don't want. They think that our body is also eternal. Prabhupada explains in his purport that how King Yayati becomes so shameless. Although he has fully enjoyed his whole life, got an old body, still he is requesting to his sons to get their young body for further to enjoy. Then somehow he requested to his youngest son, Puru, and he agreed. He gave some beautiful philosophies, and finally he agreed. Then he exchanged the body. Then now King Yayati become young, and for 1,000 years he enjoyed the whole kingdom, Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Sri, everything. But finally he was completely disgusted. In the last verse of that chapter, it is mentioned that although he enjoyed for 1,000 years, he was not happy at all. Then he looked towards devotional service. So it is proved again and again, it is proved that this kāma, sense gratification, will not deter us from having desires. So, what lessons we are learning from this verse? So, our duty is to become completely self-satisfied, just like the ocean is fully satisfied. Although full, it never deviates or it never crosses its brink. Same way, as long as we are fully connected with Guru and Krishna, there will be so many temptations, there will be so many problems, there will be so many disturbances in our life, but we will never be disturbed by those flow of desires. Why? Because we are connected with Krishna. That means our connected in the sense our sadhana is very pakka, our services we are doing for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. So then we are fully happy and satisfied. So then, like last verse, going back to Godhead is guaranteed. And finally, Prabhupada explains that bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kāmi, sakale asanta. We are given the example of Yati. Although he had completely filled with all type of sense, but he is not happy. Those are yogis. They are also not satisfied. Why they are not satisfied? Why they are not peaceful? Because their desires are not being fulfilled. We have seen many cases. So that Sarve Muni, the end result is, and those who are working for liberation, they are also not happy, because when you compare those who are seeking happiness from Brahman, Brahmanande bhavedeso chet parat gunikruto naiti bhakti sukham bude paramāṇu tulamapi. When you compare the happiness coming from Brahman and the happiness coming from devotional service, it is like billion times. You cannot compare. Chet parat gunikruto naiti bhakti sukham bude paramāṇu tulamapi. It is just like atom. So we are very, very fortunate that we somehow by Krishna's arrangement we have come into devotional service, and we are so fortunate we are able to discuss Bhagavad-Gita with so many wonderful devotees. And Krishna tells that guaranteed that those who follow this path and act according to the teachings of Bhagavad-Gita, peace is guaranteed, happiness is guaranteed, going back to Krishna is also guaranteed. Thank you very much. Any discussions or comments?
So basically the conclusion is that the Jeev is Anandamayo Vyasa, always looking for happiness. He will never stop looking for happiness. But unless we get pleasure from our practice of Krishna consciousness, the lust sitting in our senses, mind and intelligence will force us to cross the limits and suffer the consequences.
Thank you very much. So that's why we are experiencing a higher taste. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinam sasapya sarasavajam param drushta nivartante. When we experience a higher taste, automatically the lower taste, material, fail, desires will go away. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, you said that one was connected with Krishna problems may come, it will not affect the person.
Can you speak a little louder?
You said whoever is connected to Krishna, whatever disturbance or problems may come, the person will remain unaffected. So, are we to, is it the right understanding that even a person, a neophyte, who is struggling with sadhana bhakti also, or trying to perform sadhana bhakti to whatever the best level possible, is that person also in that category of being connected with Krishna?
No, that's why three types of devotees: Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. So those the Kanishta Bhakta, and how these Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama are classified according to their faith. Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama, Shraddha Anusari. So what is his faith? Avasya rakhive Krishna. That what is faith? Shraddha sabde vishwasa kahe sudruda nishchaya. Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma kruta hai. When he understands, yes, I will continue with my devotional service, Krishna will protect me under all circumstances. So when that faith is there, then automatically his consciousness is higher. And he will not disturb, because as long as he is with devotees, as long as he is with devotee association, Guru, Krishna, always molded his life according to teachings, then where is the question of disturbance? Although he is disturbed, immediately solution is there. He will immediately approach the devotee, consult with the devotee. Now, this is actually, this devotional service is actually an honest path. We have to be thoroughly honest. So even if the neophyte who is struggling with the senses, he immediately takes shelter of the devotees. He opens his heart. Prabhuji, I am struggling with this. Please give me guidelines. Then he is protected. Then he will not be disturbed. If he does not take shelter of devotees, definitely it will be disturbances for him. Because how one goes to Uttam platform? Because of his practice. He takes shelter of teachings, he takes guidelines, works under the devotees. So he is purifying himself. So the neophyte definitely will be disturbed, like we can see also how we are coming from the raw and going to be ripened by the mercy of Krishna. So these are the stages: Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. So in this, all the devotees, those are not fixed. So they will go through these Anartha Nivritti, because those material desires will come in front of us. Now sometimes, because always, it is not that always material desires will come. Sometimes it will come, and that sometimes, so this example we have to remember, that here I should not cross the boundaries of my teachings. Then I am protected. So in order to do that, here is the devotee association. Here is the shelter. Here is the peer prayers. I have to take shelter of deities. So that is the protection.
Actually, Arjuna asked the same question to Krishna. Chanchalai mana Krishna, pramati bhagavad-gita. So my mind is very flickering. How do I follow the process? And Krishna says, asamshayam mahabhahu. So there is no doubt that the mind is always disturbed. For the neophyte, it will never connect. But abhyasena kanteya that you have to practice. And slowly, and renunciation of material and attachment to the spiritual process will help.
Correct. So that practice is, yes, how many times we fall down, it does not matter. We should get up and continue. Krishna will protect us. Krishna is that he tells Kaunteya pratijani name bhakta pranasyati. Okay, we'll stop here. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai.